Hello and welcome back to Paddle with Tom. You're probably here because you're thinking of buying a kayak, and in this video I'm going to talk you through all the different options available, and hopefully it will help you make up your mind.
The first thing you need to do is decide where and how you plan to do your paddling. This will determine the type of kayak you need. They're generally built for the following activities, so choosing the right kayak will narrow your search dramatically. Recreational kayaks are great for calm lakes and slow rivers. They're generally more stable and beginner friendly. Touring or sea kayaks are built for long distances, open water and better tracking through the water. White water kayaks are generally much shorter in length, they're highly manoeuvrable and they're designed for rapid water. A fishing kayak, on the other hand, is often wider, is much more stable and has rod holders built into it and gear tracks. Lastly, inflatable kayaks, they're really portable and great for casual paddling and travelling around. They're also quite often much more affordable and a great way to start your hobby. Next, you need to decide whether you want a sit inside kayak or one that you sit on top of. This won't apply to things like whitewater rafting, but can apply to some of the other classes of kayak. So this is a sit inside kayak, offers better control, better protection from the weather, and it's probably more efficient. And they allow kayakers to tackle wider rivers. And obviously in the sea, they've got the protection of a spray deck, which Alan's not displaying but has. And if you're to capsize though, the downside of these is they're harder to get out of. So sit on top kayaks, they're easier to get in and out of, and they're also self-draining. So if you do get water in them, it drains out through the drain holes. They're good for warmer climates, and but generally the downside is you can get more exposed to water with them. So consider your comfort, the climate you're going to be kayaking in, and your confidence with re-entry if you tip over. Personally, I prefer a sit-in kayak, even though it's not covered with a spray deck. Kayaks have different hull shapes that will affect its performance. A wider kayak generally is more stable, but can be quite a bit slower in the water. Narrower kayaks are normally faster and track better through the water, but can feel less stable and a bit more tippy. If you're new to kayaking or want a relaxing ride, stability does really matter. I know it did for me. If you're covering long distances, speed and tracking are going to be more important to you. As a larger bloke, new to kayaking, buying a stable kayak was my first priority, and one that could take my weight. You do really need to consider how much weight you can comfortably lift and store, as you may be lifting this kayak off and on a car or a kayak rack. So plastic moulded kayaks like this are durable, they're quite affordable and they're long lasting. But you've got to lift this up onto your car potentially, so you've got to make sure that's something you can manage. And if you're going through locks, think about portaging and the weight of this kayak going through quite a few in one paddling session. Then there's composite fiberglass, sort of carbon fiber kayaks. They're incredibly light and very fast, but they can be quite expensive. Inflatables or even folding kayaks are extremely portable, but they are less rigid. If you kayak around shallow water or rivers where there's lots of obstructions that could puncture the kayak, you need to consider that. They're ideal for throwing in the car, however, and allowing you to quickly inflate for wider adventures. When I bought my solid kayak, I knew I'd have to put it on a roof rack every time I wanted to go out. But now I've got the inflatable, I can chuck it in the car and it makes life a lot easier. Try sitting in a kayak before you buy it if you can. It should feel supportive and natural to you. Also, can you carry it on your own? So remember, picking the right kayak is not about the brand or the colour. It's about what's right for your skill level and about picking one that is right for the sort of kayaking that you're going to do. I hope this video has been helpful. Please do like and subscribe and join me again. Thanks for watching.